Today, I wanted us to be able to talk about gratitude. It's a big part of our program. It's a big part of our lives. There's a lot of science behind it that I don't think a lot of people know
The
about.
benefit of it is it counteracts the negativity bias in our lives, and it gives you this uh, natural, healthy feel-good boost.
It actually hits oxytocin, it hits dopamine, serotonin, and all the feel good receptors that happen when you're truly in a state of gratitude.
When you express gratitude to someone else, both your brain and the recipient, they both release oxytocin. So, if I'm saying, I'm grateful for you for this and that, you will also benefit and get a boost of oxytocin. Why not, help somebody else feel good too, right? So yeah,
Mhm.
maybe picking up the phone, being like, I was thinking of you, and I wanted to just tell you why I'm grateful for you. Oxytocin is just crucial for building trust, and it strengthens relationships and it reduces those feelings of isolation, all, foundational elements of recovery. So if you have this daily practice and you have, these that higher oxytocin, higher serotonin, you get a little bit of dopamine there, you're gonna, realize you don't need something to change the way you feel because you already feel so great without it.
As we're entering into the holidays, although it can be very festive, it can be very great, it can also be a tremendous time of stress and people feeling alone and feeling lack and feeling, especially in recovery, what they used to have that they don't have anymore, that type of thing. And so I think it's really important for us to remember to find the gratitude. Like, it's an instant mood changer. No matter what's going on, if we can really sit, we can be mindful, we can think about it, and we can find that thing to be grateful for. It releases all those feel good chemicals, get us out of our head. Then we're not wanting to drink or do something in order to satiate that feeling of lack or bad times. And we can do this by just giving gratitude. Welcome back to the Elevate Experience. Today, I wanted us to be able to talk about gratitude. It's a big part of our program. It's a big part of our lives. There's a lot of science behind it that I don't think a lot of people know about. And also utilizing it as not only a tool in recovery, but in a tool to reframe experiences. So you're not feeling the adverse effect of things. You can find the gratitude in it and completely alter how it's affecting you and your life. So today, Tom, we're going to be talking about gratitude.
I love it. It's an awesome topic, and it's really cool to discuss the science behind it. You think of it as kind of this fluffy thing, but there's like really some good meaning behind making a gratitude practice a part of your everyday life.
So let's talk about that. What is the science of gratitude? Like, what happens in your body, in your brain when you are truly grateful for something?
Gratitude just isn't just a nice feeling. It's actually a measurable physiological process, and it involves conscious recognition of good things in your life. To
Mm.
state kind of the obvious, but when you truly stop and feel thankful, you activate key regions in your brain. And that creates like a whole cascade of benefits of neurochemicals.
Yeah, what's interesting to me is, we talk about different things, positive psychology, different scientific things. Oh, this one makes you get oxytocin. This one makes you feel serotonin. There's all these different feel good hormones that are created, but it's fascinating to me that gratitude hits all of them. So you're not just getting that dopamine release. You're not just feeling oxytocin and love. It actually hits oxytocin, it hits dopamine, serotonin, and all the feel good receptors that happen when you're truly in a state of gratitude.
Yeah, it's quite the cocktail of neurochemicals. It really boosts you and makes you feel amazing when you practice gratitude, especially if you can, touch on it multiple times throughout your day, or have even a deeper practice of gratitude, which we'll talk about some tools to, help people
Mm.
do that. But I think we should touch on, yeah, some of the, the key neurotransmitters that are activated here.
Let's talk about dopamine. How does it release dopamine into our bodies?
Dopamines are reward chemical. And so, yeah, the science here is that when you feel grateful, especially towards another person, your brain's reward centers, which are rich in dopamine, are activated. So, this surge reinforces the behavior. So, making you want to seek out gratitude again. So, yeah, dopamine, it's like you're on the pursuit of something, you're looking for something, you're chasing your goals. And so just through being grateful for another person makes you want to continue that gratitude towards that person, which is really cool. And so the benefit of it is it counteracts the negativity bias in our life.
Mm.
So it's and the reward deficiency often seen in addiction, which is, yeah, this kind of negative bias, right? And it gives you this natural, healthy feel good boost to practice gratitude. And so the next neurotransmitter that it releases is serotonin. And so serotonin is a mood stabilizer. So the science behind this one is, yeah, gratitude is closely linked, right, to increasing serotonin levels of the prefrontal cortex. And that's the part of the brain that's responsible for complex cognitive, behavioral, and emotional regulation. So, the benefits, so higher serotonin levels lead to an improved mood and, reduces symptoms of depression and anxiety and gives you just an overall greater sense of well-being. And then the third chemical that it releases is oxytocin. So this is the bonding hormone or the love hormone. And, the science is, when you express gratitude to someone else, both your brain and the recipient they both release oxytocin. So, if I'm saying, I'm grateful for you for this and that, you will also benefit and get a boost of oxytocin. So the benefit is, yeah, oxytocin is just crucial for building trust and it strengthens relationships and it reduces those feelings of isolation. And so all, foundational elements of recovery.
Yeah, I love that. And I think it's cool because we're coming up on Thanksgiving, and I know it's been a practice in my family where we will, before we even eat, as we sit down, we will say one thing we're grateful for. And it's really nice to sort of allow yourself that time to look around the table, look at the people you love. Obviously, the first thing I think most of us are grateful for is the people we're around in times of holidays or celebration or even not good times, but having that close familial relationship, but then being grateful for it and expressing that makes everybody feel good. So it is kind of funny because it's a little like self-serving, like, oh, I need to feel better. Let me go compliment this person. But at the same time, when it's genuine, we don't know the difference. They don't know the difference. It is what it is. And it's also becomes almost like I find myself thanking people all the time, being grateful for them all the time because I think people need to hear it more. I think they need to be acknowledged more, but also because you're right, it does give me that sense of feeling good as well.
Yeah, and with Thanksgiving, the kind of overall, vibe of Thanksgiving can feel superficial sometimes,
Mm.
like, oh, it's like you're being forced to be grateful. And sometimes you could be in a very not grateful headspace. But it's really important, like when you're in recovery to try to, experience this holiday in a different way, maybe not looking at material things, right? Like that's kind of the trap, right? It's easy to focus on, the material things that we have, right? And that, it's good to have, yeah, like a nice dinner. It's good to have a roof over your head. But that, can lead to comparison, can lead to resentment or, a sense of lack in some ways, right?
Mm.
So, so focusing on the people in your life, I think is especially when you hear about the neurotransmitters and how that how gratitude can really make you feel good about life in general. So yeah, focusing on who you're surrounded with and being grateful and thankful for those is really what I would advise.
Yeah, I mean, and there's levels to it. I mean, it could be as simple as just feeling grateful for what you have. I'm alive today.
Hmm.
I'm grateful that I'm here compared to where I was last year. And sometimes it's a good time for reflection because things can be really tough and really trying and really stressful. And you're like, you can get really trapped in feeling like, oh my gosh, this is awful. But I know for myself, if I can go, yes, but look at how far we've come. Look at the things we've done. Look at this, sort of reframing things. You can get that gratitude even off of the adversity that you're experiencing by comparing it to things that were worse or bigger things you've gotten through or worse things that could be happening to you compared to other people. So there's many ways that you can try to find gratitude when maybe you're going through a hard time and it's just not that easy right now.
Yeah, and another way we could look at it as like, shifting like an inner focus, right, of like what we're grateful for. So, true recovery gratitude shifts the focus on things that can't be taken away from us, like our sobriety, right? That can't be taken away. Your courage as an individual. It could be, if you're a part of a program, the support that you've been given from that program, and so, yeah, like a good tip from Elevate is, spending less time listing, the things that you have and more time feeling a deep, visceral thankfulness for the changes that you've made in your life, right? So, like writing three specific sentences, starting with, I am grateful for my sobriety today because, and then starting to like, yeah, shift that focus on like the internal power that you have and that focus there.
Yeah, I know one for me that sometimes I take for granted, even though I put in a lot of work, but it always gets me back to that place is being grateful for my health, being grateful for um, my dogs, grateful for even though I have a car payment, the fact that I have a car, just little things. It's a lot about shifting your viewpoint into being grateful. And I know when we were talking earlier about the neurochemicals, I know Joe Dispenza very much discusses the heart coherence. And that is like that ultimate feeling of love. And when you're in this space of receiving and gratitude, that's when good things can happen to you. So sometimes there's almost even a fake it till you make it kind of thing. It's like, I feel like really crappy right now. Okay, but what can I feel grateful for? Okay, what can I put my attention on that shifts me out of this mood? And that's why we utilize gratitude a lot at Elevate, because obviously people are in rehab. They're not feeling great. Like they're not there because they want to be there. They're not there because they won the lottery. Like people are there because there's been certain wreckage and ruin in their lives. And so it's almost like part of the retraining of the brain to be grateful for the experiences that got them there so that they could then be grateful for now where they're at and what they can get out of it. And so it really is a training. It's not, I don't think it's a, common, everybody knows this. Oh, of course, there is a lot that goes into retraining your brain and then really feeling it, not just going, I'm grateful for my dog. I'm grateful for my this, it's not just like listing out these things. It's like getting and invoking that feeling in our hearts that creates that chemical reaction.
Yeah, it's definitely a skill, and it's a pillar of long-term recovery. And yeah, like we said, like Elevate Addiction Services, it's not just this passive feeling, it's this active skill that you can practice and you can really improve your life. And it's something you need to work on daily, like finding moments in your day that you can be grateful. And yeah, it's very potent actually for sustained sobriety. It can help with relapse triggers, right? Gratitude, focuses the attention on the positives about the present, pulling the brain away from rumination, where you're thinking about things over and over, these thoughts or, yeah, past mistakes or even future anxiety, right? Gratitude's a very present feeling. And yeah, it interrupts negative thought patterns, um, and touching on, other things that it can help, like resentment and isolation, so expressing gratitude strengthens community and it reduces this kind of feeling of self-pity and it helps individuals feel more connected with their support network or the larger world even. And it helps rebuild empathy that, so it's super cool on many different levels. And when you think about stress and cravings as well, so, by boosting dopamine and serotonin, gratitude lowers these stress hormones that we have, like cortisol, right? So
Mm.
lower stress means, lower urge to self-medicate, right? You don't feel that need to take something to change the way you feel, So if you have this daily practice and you have, these the higher oxytocin, higher serotonin, you get a little bit of dopamine there, you're gonna, realize you don't need something to change the way you feel because you already feel so great without it. And then it also can help, have stability or help with that pink cloud kind of crash that people go through when they're new in recovery. So, it provides a stable, non-chemical source of reward. So unlike, internal euphoria of sobriety, gratitude is actually sustainable. It's this internal mood regulator, like we were saying with serotonin. So having healthy serotonin levels or healthy oxytocin levels, which really combat those addictive parts of our brain. So super cool as a skill and as a tool for us to use in recovery.
Awesome. So let's talk about a few of the things that, a few ways you could do it, because I mean, there's a multitude of ways you can express or feel gratitude. Some people like to do it first thing in the morning. Like today, I'm grateful for this. Some people like to do it right before bed, like they review and reflect on their day and say, oh, I'm grateful that this happened and that happened. There's also gratitude journaling, where every day it's just part of their process, either the morning routine or night routine of writing down things that they're grateful for.
Yeah, journaling's great. A lot of people, there's a lot of like fancy gratitude journals you could buy,
Mhm.
but you don't have to. You could just journal on what you're grateful about. But maybe getting a gratitude journal to help you get started, or can it give you some prompts? Some are pretty creative and helpful these days. You could write a letter to somebody,
Mm.
so somebody that's impacted your life in a positive way, since we're here from the recovery world, maybe somebody that's helped you in your recovery, that got you through a tough moment, or you learned something really valuable from. So, it could be, yeah, a sponsor, it could be, a therapist, a counselor that you're working with, or maybe just another person in the same shoes, another peer as you. And then you get that dual oxytocin release, right? And which is incredibly powerful. Or you could have like a mindfulness practice as well, right? So, just thinking of different moments in your day where you, prompt yourself to be grateful, right? So you could be, while you're doing simple tasks, you kind of tie that or like habit stack that to
Mhm.
that task. So, like if you're making coffee, like every time you make coffee, you're starting this practice of, okay, when I make coffee, I'm going to focus on gratitude today or every
Mhm.
day, or
I
like you're,
like that one because, like, I have an electric toothbrush, so I know I've got 2 minutes in the morning and 2 minutes at night. And if I'm while I'm brushing my teeth, I'm just like hardcore gratituding.
yeah,
So, like you said, it's habit stacking. It's just adding it to something that I'm already doing. So I'm not trying to invent some time throughout the day. It's just I'm already doing this. So while I'm doing this, why don't I be grateful as well?
yeah, it's a super cool tip, right? Yeah, and that's awesome that you do that. But yeah, doing chores, washing dishes, brushing your teeth, making coffee, you know, or you sit and you have like a practice, like you have a routine where you have like 5 minutes where you just sit in silence and close your eyes, and
Mhm.
you try to really harness that feeling of gratitude and really play through some things that you're grateful for that day. Yes, it could be some internal things, some internal motivation, some grateful for the changes that you've made. And yeah, it's super valuable. Those are some great ways. Yeah, journaling, writing a letter to somebody, or having this little mindfulness practice where you habit stack, or you actually meditate. Or yeah, different cues. I was thinking of like, yeah, maybe every time you see like 15 on the clock or something, like, or
Mhm.
a number that you like, a particular number, like on, uh, that's a cue for you to, okay, I'll be grateful here. People have their numbers, right?
Mhm.
Lucky numbers or whatever. So that could be another a cool thing. Every time you see that number, you practice.
I like that. When I notice it in others is a lot of athletes. Like, for example, my favorite athlete, Steph Curry. Every time he makes a shot, he acknowledges God, and there's just gratitude in that moment for having the joy of the game, the love, the appreciation, the all the things to, so there's different ways that you can have gratitude, like in the moment of something happening as well, which I think only boosts and elevates that feeling exponentially because you're in the middle of it. And now I'm showing how grateful I am because I'm in the middle of this. It can really make things feel even better than they already have.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And then when he does it, I do it. And now I'm starting to do it. I'm like, oh, wait, yeah, I'm just being grateful, man. It's pretty awesome. But it's always good to get that reminder because, especially, as we're entering into the holidays, although it can be very festive, it can be very great, it can also be a tremendous time of stress and people feeling alone and feeling lack and feeling, especially in recovery, what they used to have that they don't have anymore, that type of thing. And so I think it's really important for us to remember to find the gratitude. Like it's an instant mood changer, no matter what's going on. If we can really sit, we can be mindful, we can think about it, and we can find that thing to be grateful for. It releases all those feel good chemicals, get us out of our head. Then we're not wanting to drink or do something in order to satiate that feeling of lack or bad times. And we can do this by just giving gratitude.
And why not help while you're using this skill, why not, help somebody else feel good too, right? So yeah,
Mhm.
maybe picking up the phone and being like, hey, I'm trying this new thing, trying to practice gratitude, and I was thinking of you. And I wanted to, just tell you why I'm grateful for you. And then go down that, whatever it is you'd like to say, and it's good to be, or you don't even need to preface it. You just call somebody and just tell them, hey, I'm just grateful for you for this and this reason. You don't need to tell them you're doing, practicing a skill. But,
I'm trying to learn
people,
gratitude, so I'm calling you. Is this good? No.
some people, may like that kind of icebreaker. Like maybe
Yeah.
it's so out of character for you to do this. It's like, oh, okay, like let's preface it with, something to make this less weird, Yeah.
Totally. And then the more you do it, the more it just becomes natural. It becomes like something you want to do because you like seeing other people feel good. Like that's why I like to do it. Not only am I extremely gracious for all the people and the situations in my life, but I like acknowledging other people so that they understand that they're making a positive impact on me and their lives make me feel better.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, this was an awesome conversation. I'm really glad that we talked about it because we are hitting the holidays. This is a very useful tip for anybody to be able to use, and I'm glad we did this because it's a good reminder for me as well to just remember to be gracious and have gratitude and how to develop that practice and all the different ways that we can do so.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? I'm really grateful to be on the show and to be able to educate, the world with, Elevate and what we do and some of the cool things. And I'm very grateful for you, Angie, for having me on. And, I'm very honored to be chosen to do this with you. So thank you, Angie.
Ah, thanks, Tom. I appreciate that. And I'm eternally grateful for you as well, my friend. Thanks for coming on the show today. And if anybody's struggling out there, know you're not alone. We are here with you and for you. And if you need help, reach out.